In this video, we are going to see how we can assert the response status using Groovy language. So what we are going to do here is, again we are going to click on this plus icon to add a script assertion, and you can name this script assertion 4, or you can give any meaningful name to your assertion. And then we are going to write some steps based on which we can assert that whether the response which we have got is a successful response based on the status message or not. So let's see how we can do that. Let me just make it bigger. Okay. So firstly, again we are going to import the XML holder library. Okay, and after that we are going to define the Groovy utils. So these are some steps which you have to remember, or you can save it at a common place, and whenever you are Groovy script assertion, you can just include it. And then we are going to define the holder based on this Groovy utils. Okay, so once this is done, what we are going to define is our namespace. So holder dot namespace, which we are going to get from the our XML itself. So for this particular XML namespace as this, I will just show you from where we can get it. And once our holder dot namespaces is defined, what I need to do is define the headers, because we are going to check for the headers. Okay, so message exchange dot get response headers, which is going to extract the headers from the response and store it in a variable which is called as headers. So now we are asserting whether the response which we have received is a 200 OK or something else. So we can do assert http /1.1. This is what you get in return. Again, I will show you just now once we have completed it. Is equal to headers, and here it has to be equal to because we are doing a comparison, we are doing a check. So that is why it has to be two equal to signs. And then we are going to compare this with the status in headers. Okay, so if this line is successful, then we are going to print the response we are fetching the status and putting it here, and you can also print the time, that how much time did it take to give you the response. So we can just print that also. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so we are getting an error which says get response headers, get request headers is not correct. So let us go back. Okay, so here you can see that we have missed a P. So let me run it again. And now the script assertion is passed, and you can see here in the response it is giving us the status as 200 OK, and the time and date and time and day also, that when this was executed. Okay, so these are the details which we have got. Now coming to this message 200 OK, where we can see it, let me just show you. So whenever we run our request and we get a 200 OK, you can go to raw, and let me just run it one more time to make sure that we have in raw the HTTP 200 code mentioned, that the response was a successful. So you can see here at the top that this was a 200 OK. That means the request was sent successfully and the response was also received. So we are asserting this particular status code only using our script which we have written in the assertion. Using that script only we are checking that this particular message or this particular HTTP code, status code, is returned or not. So suppose if there is some error and 200 OK message is not received, then our assertion is going to fail. At that point our assertion is going to fail because we are asserting with this message, and what you are getting in the header status, that is going to be a different message. So whenever this kind of scenario will occur, so our assertion is going to fail at this point only, and it is not going to give any result. So let us see an example of that also. Suppose the URL to which our request is hitting, the endpoint URL, is not correct. So I have removed the E from index in this URL. So that means the URL which we have put is not a correct URL. So if I run this in this case, so you can see that our script assertion has failed, and sorry, it's this one, script assertion 4 has failed. And why it has failed is because in the response you can see 404 not found was received instead of 200 OK. And you can see here also that there is an error, unexpected element C data. So it did not find the correct response, it did not find the correct status code in the response, because of which the assertion which we had put failed. So let us change it back to the correct URL and run it again. So now in this case you can see that our assertion passed, and the status code also is correct in this case. So status code which is returned is correct, because of which our assertion also passed. So whatever you are specifying in your assertion, it is going to matter a lot. It is going to make an impact on the results which you are going to get, that whether the results are going to be correct or not, and based on these assertions only you can rely on the result that your script has passed or script has failed. Okay, so we will be learning more of these script assertion to validate different points. You can include all of them in one script also, or you can create different scripts. So we will be creating them in one script so that we don't have to check at multiple places. Whenever there is a failure or whenever there is a success, we don't have to check at multiple places. Okay, so I will see you in the next class with more of script assertions. Thank you.